Hello there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your August 2025 tarot reading. Let's jump right into this by pulling 3 cards to figure out what's been going on with you lately. What are the present energies you're working with for August 2025? And what's yet to come? What's coming up for you in your near future? I'll continue to pull cards throughout the duration of this reading to go deeper into the messages that are coming through. But now, hopefully you can sit back, relax, or I hope that this catches you at a good time. Let's get into it. The Eight of Wands. This is a very busy, fast-paced, almost kind of synchronized energy you've been working with lately. Are things just falling into place for you now? Are things really making sense? Or is the tempo of your life picking up? Are you being pulled in many directions? So the Eight of Wands first, now the Seven of Wands for your present energy. You might get to put something down this month. You might sort of have to double down on a principle this month, or you may even feel in some way under pressure or backed into a corner. This is actually possibly some sort of a test that's emerging, kind of set up by yourself to really kind of basically figure out what is worth pouring your focus into. And then I've got the Hermit card, which is interesting because it really is an introspective card. I get the impression that you yourself are kind of going through this review process. Now this could be coming up like very literally, like you're a candidate for a job selection and they're overviewing or like reviewing your CV or your resume. You may be going through a certain period in your career or work and you're just kind of being a little bit more carefully watched, or people are deciding what way you should take yourself, or like people are kind of deciding something for you. Now this could also look like you have handed in a thesis or a body of work, or you've handed in something to your editors or publishers and they're looking over it. Now on the other hand, you might be the person doing the reviewing. So potentially you're hiring somebody to help you with a home project, or you're hiring somebody to renovate your home, or you're hiring somebody to work for you or to nanny for you, and you are looking at them with a little bit more of a microscopic lens, okay? You could be reviewing many different things in your life. That's just what's coming up to me at the beginning of this reading, and that's still yet to come, so that may not have fully evolved yet. But what you have been already processing is the fact that you've had to be much more adaptable and flexible, think on your feet. You might have been traveling often or more regularly, or you've just gotten back from a trip. And whatever has transpired for you lately, which has had you kind of taken out of your usual routine, or there's something a bit more unpredictable about how you've been navigating the world around you, or just showing up. And it's probably been quite exciting for you, but it's been an enriching kind of period that you've just come through. And whatever you've actually put out there into the universe now, Sagittarius, something is really sticking here. You might have even felt like sort of things are working or conspiring in your favor lately, and you're just sort of in the right place at the right time. It's almost like your destiny is syncing up for you at this time in your life. And like I said earlier, everything is falling into place for you. So moving from the Eight of Wands into the Seven of Wands, to me, and usually when we see a 7 in tarot, we're seeing something that feels a little bit more like a challenge that you're set to overcome. So this August presents something for you to rise to and to cement, just like this kind of little hill this person is climbing. I see you at the top and I see you as the climber. Who do you see yourself as? Are you in a position at the moment, or are you set to become this person where you're in a position of authority, leadership, or you're just in a very covetable position where others are either looking up to you or they're kind of looking at you with a little bit of envy? Or are you this person here that is inspired by another and are trying to learn from them and trying to not necessarily emulate, but kind of follow in a direction that somebody has set out for themselves? And I think you sort of see yourself as being able to rise up to that a little bit. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with that Seven of Wands here is that in this month of August, no matter who you identify with here, everything that's been falling into place for you, everything that has begun rather, to make sense and to speed up and to align, basically, well, there may be one item on the docket or one sort of certain aspect of this that you've been making a priority or you thought was important that kind of takes a back seat, or you just let go of, maybe just temporarily, in the month of August. And then we get to the Hermit card when we're certainly analyzing or carefully reviewing our progress, the progress of another, or we ourselves are under the lens and being more carefully examined for whatever reason. I think probably as a candidate, or you're auditioning, or you're in a selection process, or vice versa. Okay, so let's get into the rest of this reading. And if this resonates, I will be sitting down here directly after this to do an extended reading for August 2025 for the sign of Sagittarius, okay? And actually it's going to be an amazing time to sign up, because at the end of the month I will be doing a Patreon exclusive 6-week overview for the eclipse season portal for the sign of Sagittarius, looking at late August all the way through September until the beginning of October. So I just think it's kind of more value for money, but obviously up to you. Let's park that there and get back into this reading. And there's a color scheme here, isn't there? Yeah, and it's the same as this at the bottom of the deck. This bluey, purpley kind of a color scheme, okay? We've got the green in there too. So heart chakra green, but I'm really seeing like the throat, the third eye chakra, the crown as well. So this is about something intellectual. This is something about corresponding or sharing information. This is also potentially about a message that you have to share. And there could be just a lot of dialogue, a lot of like back and forward. Lately, continuing into August, this is some sort of a process that you're working through right now that is taking like, it's a back and forward, like it involves somewhat of a bouncing off each other, sharing ideas, brainstorming, waiting for a response, or reaching out, getting in touch, that kind of a thing. So I have the Seven of Cups here and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so let's look at these cards with the Eight of Wands. It's great that things have started moving, finally, or it's great that things have started to become more clear, make more sense to you, because it does seem like an energy you're also leaving behind is this Seven of Cups. This illustrates some sort of a clamoring going on in the headspace, okay? So I'm thinking migraine, I'm thinking stress, I'm thinking confusion or overwhelm here. And it's nice to see that this Seven of Cups is coming up in your past. So although you had to go through this challenge, another sevens are usually about a challenge to overcome. What has emerged from that period, like this little shoot is just emerging from the soil, is an opportunity, a path, a selection, or some sort of this one is the one I'm choosing kind of a situation where you've narrowed down options now, or potentially, as life would have it, the external circumstances of maybe a selection process or a acceptance or rejection or whatever. There's been a filtering process for you lately, Sagittarius, and whether it's you that have filtered through options or you have been an option passed through a filter, so to speak, what has been left here at the end of all of this is the right choice or the aligned path, or basically what you should be focused on. So albeit a confusing time may have just recently passed you, where it was stressful or there were too many options, or you just couldn't really figure out where to kind of narrow your focus towards, it has all seemingly worked out, or however it happened, you've landed on some sort of a wonderful possibility or potent sort of emerging seed been sown, kind of now things are kind of growing. This looks like a bamboo shoot, and if we know anything about bamboo, we know that it grows in a very mighty, strong, enduring way. It's almost unstoppable. But for the longest time, when the shoots are planted, nothing is happening, or so it seems on the surface. What's happening underground is this strengthening process, or the germination, or I'm not sure about the technicalities, but more or less what I get from this is sometimes it takes a really, really long time for results to show. Sometimes it can seem like nothing is really happening, when in actual fact, all the groundwork, the preparation, the timing, it's all working out behind the scenes. And once this starts for you, I think it really takes on a life of its own, basically. Could almost feel like it's inevitable or it's unstoppable. And with that, actually can be what you want on some level. Like, you wanted it to take off, you wanted it to kind of sprout and grow, but there is some sort of a like, oh my gosh, like a fear of success coming through, or also like there's also a second guessing here, or there is a kind of like, am I sure? Am I ready for this? There is some self-doubt. There's a lot of overthinking this, you know? And while you can say to yourself, no, this is what I want, and you can kind of rationalize that, there's still, you can get your head around it. There seems to be still to me something that's holding you back from going full throttle on this. Maybe it's a personal issue, you know, somebody gets left behind in your life, somebody doesn't like it, you have to let someone down or break someone's heart, or there's just a cost here that's still weighing on your mind. Let's get into the Seven of Wands and see if it's anything to do with this challenge that is, well, you're set to rise to this challenge in August, and they could be linked. Why don't we look at that? By we, obviously me, you, your highest self, my highest self, your guides, whoever else is here for this reading, okay? Let's see, Seven of Wands coming through with, interesting. Yeah, the Eight of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So the Eight of Swords, it's the classic, right? The classic overthinking, the self-doubt, leading to sometimes just total freeze, procrastination, staying stuck, a negative belief about yourself and your abilities. Really counterproductive, of course, really not effective, or so it seems on the surface again. What actually is so wonderful about the Eight of Swords is that with any eight, and you've seen one here in your Eight of Wands, something is transforming in the eights, and they're a necessary rite of passage. For instance, the Eight of Wands transformation is when something almost is out of your hands and moving forwards or upwards or progressing. And that's why I think you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is really happening. Like there's no stopping it now. There's this inevitable quality. And that might be actually what you want. But I guess what I'm seeing now is that also simultaneously occurs with now you've lost control of it, or it's bigger than you, or it's out there in the world and you can't take it back. Not that you necessarily want to, but still you've lost control of this. And another way to look at this is you've been working really hard on something. It's your baby, so to speak. You've poured a lot of love and care and focus into something. And there's that natural kind of like, I don't know, like you think of it as like something that's yours, and then when you have to send it off to your publisher, you have to bring it out into the world, it's no longer just between you and them, just like a baby or whatever else is, you know, metaphorically birthing or being gestated, and now it's out there. So that's the transformative effect of the Eight of Wands. Like, you know, this is now taken on a life of its own. Basically, it's its own entity with its own sort of energetic field around it, that you're not really the Chariot at the bottom of the deck. And another eight here, interesting, the Eight of Cups. Okay, so we've got to talk about all these eights. But the Chariot, it's like you're no longer fully in the driving seat on this. The transformative effect of the Eight of Swords is, while it's uncomfortable to be in that, and I think that that is an energy you're going to be grappling with this August, when you break free of that Eight of Swords cycle, it can be seen as a mental block or a cyclical kind of, oh, I'm no good at this will never change, this is the way things are, they probably hate me, they probably are judging me, like all of these kind of self-limiting beliefs. When you can see past that and break that sort of cycle, typically that's a transformation of a mindset, and you, depending on if this is like a deeper wound or not, or if it's deep-seated, and it can be said that this is a time that you won't go back there anymore. So you've broken some sort of a ineffective chain, that kind of like, or domino effect in your mind, if that makes sense. But all of these eights coming up and peeking out, like this is a transformative time in your world where potentially what's been going on July and specifically more through April into September, coinciding with, of course, the eclipse season, which are just key for transformation. Sagittarius, this is possibly a time in your life where things are significantly changing, and so are you, and you'll be seeing signifiers of your growth and whatnot. So the remedy for potentially getting stuck in August, psyching yourself out, like for instance, let's think of an example. The Seven of Wands, what if you're this person trying to ascend, trying to make life better for yourself, trying to progress and get to a higher vantage point? When things don't go your way in August, you know, it's natural, not everything goes our way. If that's the case, the Eight of Swords would respond with something like, well, of course, that's not going to work out for me. Why would they ever choose me? Why would they get back to me? They probably saw something I wrote online and they think, oh my God, I can't identify with that person. Or there's just something that comes up and you think of every worst case scenario to affirm that you'll never make it to the top or you'll never succeed, whatever it is. What about if this is you on the top? Okay, well then I think there could be a bit of paranoid thinking. You're in a position of leadership, you're in a covetable position, you like where you are, you're feeling success, you're feeling accomplished. Well, oh my gosh, like, oh, well then everybody must want what I have, like people will start rumors about me, people will try and sabotage my reputation, and all of this is just fear-based thinking, okay? I don't think that these things are necessarily happening in reality. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, of course. So what way do you combat that in the month of August? I think it's by really stepping into this Queen of Wands, okay? One of my favorite cards in the deck. I really love her. I think that she is so powerful, so sassy and brave, and just, she's a kind of person that I think you want to be around because they're not insecure by nature. So there's plenty of like genuine support from the Queen of Wands. And I think that she's a very uplifting character. Now, this could appear as you this month. I think so, because it's a fiery energy like you. And I do get that the impression that like you're just going to feel the fear and do it anyway, you know, and just rise to the challenge, take whatever comes your way and sort of spin it into gold. And she makes magic happen. She is a creative sort of life force. She's very confident. Potentially this is you, and or you meet an ally like this, or somebody presents themselves into your world, somebody you haven't met before this August. So this could come up in a social setting, at an event. This could come up as an online correspondence, or at a new job, or in your neighborhood or community. Or of course, this could just be a friend of yours or somebody who just really rides for you, you know, and you get that there's somebody that really truly wants you to succeed. And I don't know, you somehow activate this energy, and or, right, if there are somebody that's just drawn towards you, well, I mean, we sort of surround ourselves with like-minded souls, or our frequency can attract other people of the same frequency. So I think you know you're on the right track, or that you're not stuck in this kind of sort of victim role maybe of the Eight of Swords. Or, you know, sometimes the limiting force of the Eight of Swords can be like this person is blindfolded, like, so not being able to see other perspectives, being very biased, kind of like black and white thinking, or even arrogance or self-righteousness. And that can be the shadow of the Queen of Wands. So why not watch out for that? But also watch out for it in yourself, of course, first and foremostly. But if you are feeling like that's somebody that is in your aura for a lot of August, or has some sort of influence, it might just be also an indication for you to check in with yourself and see if this is mirroring anything to you, or maybe just kind of put put a bit of distance there or something, if that speaks to you. But again, take what resonates, leave the rest. Obviously I'll get into lots more in the extended, but before clearing up this Hermit card, which is our only major arcana card of the reading so far, that's important. But anyway, like I was saying, I invite you now to please make sure you're subscribed. If you like this video, like it. If you don't, dislike it, that's okay. But share with me in the comments, and I hope to see you again. Okay, so major arcana of the Hermit card. Major arcana, a little bit more of a deeper message, or I guess this is a period of significant soul growth for you, occurring through the modality of the Hermit's energy. Okay, so we'll look at that along with another seven, the Seven of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. So many sevens, so many eights, so many sevens. August may present itself, you know, August and a little beyond, and a little bit prior, you're probably like more challenges. But let's not think of sevens only as a challenge, right? They're actually a number of progress and a number of manifestation and magic, okay? So we only can activate, like, we can only see our progress when it's marked with kind of overcoming hurdles or defeating blocks and something that's in our way. And manifestation, magic, like with sevens, I think of potentially, if you're familiar with astrology, I think of like a square aspect in the chart. Those tense aspects, or those tense times, those trying times, are the times where we test our mettle, and when we make, like, they are also markers of dynamic change. Because if we were just bopping around, plain sailing, vibing, like, sure, it would be maybe easeful, maybe it could be dull to some people, but we wouldn't really be evolving at such a rapid pace if everything were so simple all the time. Okay, so you might notice that things have been more testing lately, more balls to juggle, more things to figure out. But I think you've gotten some kind of like validation that things are moving in the right direction. That's that Eight of Wands. Anyway, the Hermit card, the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups. What am I feeling about this? I think that the Hermit card, as our only kind of major arcana in this reading, is suggesting that after the month of August, or coming up towards the end of August, the sun moves into Virgo around the 23rd this month. And the Hermit is the Virgo card. So I'm thinking, like, let's put the 22nd, 23rd of August as to when this review process, selection process, is either kind of reaching its threshold. Like, this is the deadline. This is when you expect to hear an answer either way. Or this is potentially when, around this time, let's say, that you have to either stay, go, commit or not. Like, there has to be some sort of an action here. And the Hermit card is kind of what, to me, it's saying to you, like, trust that you've thought about this long and hard enough. I don't get the impression here that this is saying, come the 22nd, 23rd of August, or come towards the end of August into September, you need to really start thinking things through more. To me, I'm getting the impression that this is saying, like, your thinking has been done. Trust that you have weighed it all up. You know, you're not listening to other people's opinions necessarily. Like, you've taken some perspective on board maybe, but you've come to something that feels really true to yourself. And I think that this is when, you know, you may just take a subtle action, or you may be kind of brought into the loop if you're the person that feels like you're being more under review. And the Seven of Pentacles is where I see more doubt, but then the Ace of Cups is like the kind of, this is a good omen to me, or this is like a very positive final card to draw in this reading, because to me it says, well, aces are about opportunity. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, you're getting two of these in a reading. So you're in a place in your life right now that is ample with potential. And maybe it isn't that everything is supposed to work out, or maybe not everything that you see for yourself right now or have invested in right now will be turning out the way that you hope today. But it's good, and then maybe it will, but maybe it's good to have just this kind of energy right now that is so ripe for, well, if this doesn't work out, I've got this. And when we have multiple opportunities like that, or choices, it really tells me that you're in alignment and you're going to end up where you're supposed to be. And the Ace of Cups to me is more like a yes, like it's something happy, it's something positive, it's something that we're kind of glad to see. So even though the Seven of Pentacles is like one final challenge towards the end of the month, I think that it is for you to decide, like, is my heart really in this? And if it is, then your answer is there. If it's not, and you think like, I've thought about this and I still am not sure, well, maybe that's your answer, okay? Well, Sag, I'll get into your extended next, but if I'm not seeing you there, I'll leave you here. Bye.